Come on.
Dude.
Oh, hey. We didn't see you there.
What's going on, Internet?
Well, congratulations. If you're listening to this, you are part of an elite group of people with nothing better to do but listen to us. So, you did it.
Very true. Everybody knows that every successful business starts out of their parents' garage, and that's where we're at. We're here, 13453 Valley Heart Drive. Represent.
We're going to be the next Google. So, yeah, we're pretty excited to bring this to you. You're listening to Loading with Will and Finn.
That is true. Loading. So, the whole loading idea is we are all about, like, trying to, learn and grow as people, every day. And especially, I think, this podcasting boom that's been happening since coronavirus has kind of kept everybody inside, has very much made people very inquisitive and like wanting to learn and wanting to become better people all at the same time. And that's what Finn and I are trying to do here. We're trying to bring on smart, cool people that are our age and maybe other ages, and we're trying to learn something new every day,
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys will too.
Exactly. So the loading element is just, ever expanding your knowledge base. But it's going to be really cool for us because I think we're going to get to know a lot of the people that we've grown up with or just been around or know from friends of friends that we've always admired from afar, but get to know them on a more personal level. So we're excited to share that with you guys.
Very true. So again, this is Loading with Will and Finn. My name's Will, by the way. We didn't even do.
Oh yeah, that's it. All right,
My name's Will Mink. I just graduated from the University of Michigan. Currently unemployed. That's kind of we're going to go through personal intros pretty quickly. But maybe just a brief intro for you two.
Yeah. So I'm Finn Vigi. I went to the University of Alabama. Sadly, that one's over. But hey, that's part of the hustle. So I'm going to be starting work. Supposed to be in August, but that recently got moved back to January because of all the coronavirus stuff going on. So I'm kind of tentatively waiting about that. Our stories are not as important of the people we'll be talking about later, but I'm sure we'll be kind of sharing those experiences with you guys. Just because, they're pretty relatable right now.
Very true. So this idea actually dates back about 2 years. When I was studying in Spain for the semester, my second semester, junior year of college, I took this journalism class with this guy, and I'm blanking on his name, which is pretty embarrassing. But the guy's a total badass. He was a media consultant for FC Barcelona, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Consulted with Messi and Luis Suarez and all their high-profile players on a personal level, and worked with their president very closely as a media consultant, trying to help grow their brand and their personal brands as well. The guy also runs the biggest radio station and show runs a couple of the most popular TV shows in Catalonia. The guy's an absolute beast. So he basically called 2 years ago that podcasting is going to be the next thing. When video is very much the most popular thing, like bite-sized video. I know that company Quibi is trying to hop on that, but not going so well for them right now.
I don't see that one.
But yeah, audio is the new thing. So we're trying to dive headfirst in it, and we're really stoked to get involved.
Yeah, and I mean, just touching upon what Will's saying, that's when that idea was born, but I think it really took off when he called me up and was like, dude, we know so many cool people that are hustling in so many different areas that we have a real opportunity to get to see what they're up to and what they're doing and how they're using their young creative minds to, influence the world around them. So yeah, I mean, he kind of led the charge on that, and it's been really good to us. And I think one other really cool thing about podcasting is it takes, in that long form area, a similar effect of reading. You get to hop in someone else's mind, and you're when you interview them and you listen to them, you get to hear their opinions, and you for an hour and a half, you're not you're them, and you really think about that. So we're stoked to share that with you guys.
Absolutely. I think one of the beautiful things about podcasting, especially me, I've been obsessed with watching, the huge ones like Joe Rogan and all the people that are killing it right now in the podcasting game. You basically get 3 hours of just the deepest dive into someone's brain, and that to me is the coolest way to learn something that you want to know. So being able to bring on people that we know personally, and hopefully we'll be able to expand to people that we don't know and want to learn more about, because the easiest way to learn something is from the expert's mouth. So that's what we're trying to do we're always trying to grow as people, and we're ready to get going.
Yeah. So to start off, we are going to do a brief little rundown of 2020, just because it has definitely been a crazy one.
Before we do that, today we're actually recording we're recording on July 1st, so that's technically 2020 Hump Day. We could say
halfway mark.
We could say it is the exact 6-month point in between 2020. So we got to.
We did plan this. We planned that, by the way.
We
could have gotten started on this earlier, but we wanted to.
This is absolutely going to happen.
So yeah, no time like the present to kind of give a rundown. You know, see the crazy stuff that's gone on. But hey, maybe it's for the best. I think in a lot of ways we're better off for it.
Absolutely. And before we do that, we want to start delving into some segments that we came up with.
Oh yeah.
And our best one so far, that I think I came up with, is a combination of like one of my two favorite things. The first one is Looney Tunes, and we're gonna delve into the Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary a little bit later. But Looney Tunes were some of the funniest dudes when I was growing up, and I was very much into them. I used to play a video game at my buddy's house on like the PS2, like a Looney Tunes game that was super hilarious. And then the second half of this segment is all about documentaries. So documentaries are also one of the coolest ways to learn about someone, because it's basically a spotlight typically on someone's life that you don't really know about, or you want to learn more about, or want an insight into what they're doing. So we're gonna call this
little combo move here.
Little combo coming at you with the What's Up Doc. So we're gonna try and come up with What's Up Doc. That's what the farmer says when he's eating carrots or some shit. But yeah, so we're gonna try and drop a documentary recommendation in every podcast we do. Especially want to get our guests involved as well, so we can get more recommendations and get everybody stoked on good content.
Mm-hmm.
So the What's Up Doc I'm bringing to you guys for week 1 was this crazy documentary I watched with my dad like a month ago at a buddy's recommendation. It's called Operation Odessa, and you can find it on Netflix. Yeah, they're not even paying us to say that.
Nobody's paying us.
Nobody's paying us.
That's part of this podcast.
We paid to do this. But so the documentary is basically a little rundown. This guy moved here from Russia and calls himself Tarzan, and basically made this whole alter ego for himself. And he got super involved with like the Pablo Escobar cartel at some point when he was living in Miami, helping them sling in Miami. And the guy was absolutely crazy. Like, he basically brokered this deal with the Russian government to buy a submarine of theirs and ship it to back to Colombia for them to basically
smuggle a bunch of cocaine.
smuggle drugs under the ocean, like without the U.S. knowing, to just keep feeding Americans who are really into it, I guess, at the point. But this guy had a crazy life. They somehow caught track of a guy who's been running from the U.S. government for like 20 years. And it's just absolutely insane. So Finn, what's your what's up, Doc? Yeah, go watch Operation Odessa.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're gonna like it. It was ridiculous.
So my doc is probably a little more well known, but also found on Netflix. We're taking sponsors.
Yeah, you should have Netflix.
We're taking sponsors. Netflix.
You should have Netflix if you watch the show. Just saying.
So it's called Jim and Andy. And a lot of you probably have already seen it. A lot of you being like maybe one of the 3 people listening to this.
True.
But Jim and Andy is basically about Jim Carrey taking on the role of a comedian that's recently deceased named Andy Kaufman, or at least recently deceased at the time it's taking place.
Mm-hmm.
And it really gives you a lot of insight into 3 things. One, Andy Kaufman being like a really experimental comedian for the time, method acting and that idea, and also Jim Carrey being somewhat genius and kind of a kook.
Total kook, Jim Carrey, total kook.
Total kook. I mean, seems like a cool guy in a lot of ways, but I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, he basically takes on the role of Andy Kaufman and is so much like Andy Kaufman. I guess this Andy Kaufman guy's a bit of a dick. And Jim Carrey's just running around set being, like, the worst dude. Like, kind of like being super mean to people and like just like a weird guy all the time. But then he takes it a step further and he's like calling up Andy Kaufman's like mom and sister and stuff like that.
Oh,
and Andy
God.
Kaufman's dead. And he's like, "Hi mom, like what's up?" It's like out of
He
pocket.
tries to method act as the dead
he's like
dude?
he lives his life as this dead dude.
Whoa.
Andy Kaufman. It's like kind of spooky. He's like,
Dude,
and I guess
he's
and
more of a kook now.
the kookiest thing about this though is the mom and sister. I don't want to ruin too much. But
Yeah,
the mom and sister,
don't spoil
I'm
it.
gonna say this won't spoil it. You're gonna still be like shook. The mom and
Oh my
sister
God.
are stoked to hear from Jim Carrey because he's doing such a good job being Andy Kaufman in his day-to-day life. So
Yeah.
I mean that's not even the tip of the iceberg. So definitely go and watch that. It'll blow your mind.
So I heard this story about Jim Carrey that I respected a lot, and
Mhm.
he's like, I hold a lot of respect for him for he did this like self-motivation tactic when he was trying to come up as an actor. I don't know if this, I've never tried to fact check this online or anything, but I heard this story where he would write himself like a $10 million check like once a month or something, like when he was like just like a struggling comedian doing stand-up and open mics and stuff. I don't even know where he started out of, but once he landed his first big role, I think it was Ace Ventura. He made $10 million on the movie, so
Yeah.
it was like
So he just willed it to him.
wild, dude. It's
That's
like
cool.
it's like the law of attraction.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Affirming things to
You basically
Chicken
like
noodle
you,
soup or The
LeVar
Secret or
Ball.
something.
You speak
Yeah.
it into existence,
exactly.
right?
I like that. No, I like that. I've heard that. My mom's really into that. Hasn't worked out for us yet, but we're gonna keep trying.
That's true. That's true. Every time I think something's gonna happen, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna talk about 2020.
Oh yeah, sorry. I goofed that.
Talk
earlier.
about
We're
talk
still
about
working out
how
the
the law of
details.
attraction never works. We're gonna talk about 2020, the most ridiculous year we've all ever experienced, and
It's
we're
been
only
tough.
halfway through it,
It's
right?
been tough. It's been tough. All right. So first off, we're starting with World War III rumors. You might have forgotten about it because
Yeah.
we sure did.
You might have forgotten about it. We definitely did. We did some brief research.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. We made a big list, and then
just-
we're like, World War III rumors. What was that about?
Oh my god.
So let us fill you in on what it was about if you don't
Yes.
remember.
So
Basically, the U.S. murks some Iranian military commander, like Spec Ops dude, almost starts a war.
yes, because they're kind of like one of the middle dominoes in a giant standstill we're in right now. When you got Russia and China on one side, and you got U.S. and Europe on the other side, and I guess that is one of the fundamental pieces in the middle, and people thought that we were going to have to get involved over there, and nothing came of it, which is great.
They also threatened to go to war too over it. They're like, I mean, to be fair,
They
we did
I think they officially
do a
declared-
missile strike like on like an airport. It was just a normal airport. I don't even think it was like a military thing. So I mean, like, to be fair, a little shady. I get that. Definitely an act of aggression.
But we killed a high-profile dude, which is what we got to do.
Yeah, and also I think he was planning up some stuff, cooking up some evil sauce. But you can't really tell.
Who knows, dude? Who knows? It's 2020.
I will say this, though.
Freaking knows.
Who knows? It's really up in the air. I will say this: the fact that none of us really remembered what the World War III stuff was about,
Dude.
social media.
And the funny
Social
part is,
media.
I think this is on the same bullet point. World War III rumors is on this page a little bit further down. I think it is. All right. So after we have World War III rumors, something brutal happens. I don't even know how it starts, but Australia just lights up on fire, like as a continent. Like you see that map, and it's like the whole middle part, seemingly like 75% plus, is just totally ablaze. And you see these brutal videos on Insta and Twitter of like these koalas and all these super brave animal rights rescue people over there. So that was just horrible, man.
Also, you got some heroes creating OnlyFans to save some koalas and stuff.
That was super impressive. Some lady
impressive.
somehow got 100K involved
Yes.
through an OnlyFans account. So shout out to her.
Yeah. Also, one thing about the Australia thing, weren't there like a ton of people that moved over there to like actually like? I mean, that's crazy. Like,
dude,
moving halfway across the country.
Some people are about that, and
I respect that.
I
That's
love
huge.
those people.
That's huge.
Thank you for doing cool shit like that.
Come from California. We're at one dry ass spot. We get the wildfire situation. It's a
seriously.
bummer.
Homies from Michigan know this. that they stay making fun of me because LA is on fire all the time. It's not funny. It's not funny.
It's not. It sucks.
We don't get much rain out here, guys.
Fucking sucks.
But yeah, Malibu and kind of in the area I live, we're in the San Fernando Valley here in Sherman Oaks, and there is fires here all the time because it's just dry and windy, and you know, it was like 100 degrees yesterday.
I run through chapstick.
True.
I stay chapped.
Stay chapped.
Okay, number 3 on this list is actually...
Number 3 is something that...
Just gonna re-bum everyone out. Sorry, little warning here. This isn't...
Half this episode is gonna be laughs, half is gonna be a bummer, because 2020 has been a bummer-ass year.
Yeah, not fun. Alright, so we got Kobe and Gigi Bryant dying in an airplane crash, or helicopter crash.
Oh my god.
Dude, when I heard that, I didn't believe it.
How did you find out?
I got a Bleacher Report notification like moments after the TMZ breaking news, and I looked down and I'm like watching a movie or playing a video game or something, and I was like, I read it and I was like, that's got to be wrong. You know what I mean? That's got to just be one of those fake news Twitter things that like pops around.
I found out in like one of the worst possible ways.
Oh god.
I'm not gonna name his name, but one of my friends from Michigan who's from Long Island and is a New York sports fan, and like, you know, big hater on me for being an LA sports fan.
Fuck this kid.
He writes.
Fuck
he
you.
Writes.
That said it.
No. He just writes a message in our Full House group me and goes, "Yo, is Kobe dead?"
Oh god.
It's not funny, dude. I was like,
that's just. It's a little. It's just. I was laughing at the fucking abruptness.
In his own voice, I was like, dude. And then like,
you
obviously see it, and you're just like, dude, this guy's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
Go online and you're just like, oh shit, like as of like 30 seconds ago, like there are all these articles dropping like helicopter crash in Calabasas.
Dude, well, it was tough too because
hell?
There was so much misinformation surrounding the situation.
God, we have to break down the media coverage of the day because it was atrocious.
Dude, well, it starts off with like Kobe's dead, and then it starts off with
first of all,
Kobe's family is dead, and you're like, holy, that sucks. You know what I mean? And then it bounced around to like their whole basketball team being dead. I'm like, dude, that might be worse. Like that is worse. Like,
okay, so this was so mishandled in my opinion, and it's just so annoying because it's one of the biggest blows the world experienced. Like as crazy as this year has been, like that was still one of those monumental atrocities that happened. And you know, obviously, we're gonna delve into the rest of the crazy shit that's gone down, but. TMZ dropping an article before Vanessa Bryant even knows what's going down, like that's ridiculous.
Is it really worth being the first? I don't know the economics behind like clicks and all that stuff. I'm sure it is like economically worth it for them, but is it really worth it being the first page that breaks that news?
I don't know, dude. Like talk about like journalism ethics, bro. Like everything that you learned in school was thrown out the window that day. So.
Dude, and
I can recall them saying that, like, first they were saying that 2 of Kobe's daughters were involved. Yeah. Right? And then they were saying that it was like 12 people, right? Is that what
no, they just kept getting bigger, and then they figured it out.
And then
but here's my thing.
All this misinformation came out of the LA Times, came out of the New York Times, came out of some papers that are big time.
How do you not fact check this? Dude, it's like a big thing. You're talking about people's lives, dude. Yeah. Like, that's just terrible.
This is absolutely brutal.
Dude, but helicopters...
Maybe this is... I don't know.
I don't think I'll ever fly an helicopter. Okay. And additionally, what's the point of them? What do they do that a plane doesn't?
All right. I'm going to break down, because since I'm from Orange County, I'm from Newport Beach, but I currently live in LA now. I have a couple Kobe stories that I'm going to tell on later episodes. I don't want to tell them right now because of the somber subject. But... first of all, Kobe passed away on a Sunday. The Grammys or Emmy, I think it was Grammys. Yeah. Grammys or Emmys, a big award show.
It was a music thing.
A big award show was that night, and they were supposed to be there, which is brutal there already. But that morning, I know for a fact that Kobe went to Sunday morning mass at my parish that, like, you know, I got First Communion in. It's called Our Lady Queen of Angels back at school, and like, one of the coolest parts about living there is that that's where Kobe goes to church, so I would see his family there all the time. You know, whenever he was in town for home games, he and his family were always there. That's sick. Very much like a part of the community. He would like go to the donuts afterwards and, you know, shake hands and stuff. Never any pictures or autographs, but all very cool about that. So that was I guess somewhat heartwarming to know that he was still very much a man of faith.
Yeah.
Especially
Good
on
member
that crazy day. But the one thing that I know for a fact is that he flew a helicopter to every single practice. The Lakers training facility is in El Segundo, California, up in LA, about an hour north. And the Staples Center obviously is downtown, and that's like 2 hours of traffic to get there by game time. So he has a helipad at his house in Orange County, flies up to every practice and every game, flies back and forth all the time because that ride in the air is only like 20 minutes. And so he would come, practice, and then fly back and, you know, go to his daughter's games and stuff, and, you know, be home for dinner. And he just did that as a convenience so he could be the best family man he could.
Damn.
While also being like one of the top 5 basketball players ever.
Wow, dude, what a good guy.
So,
I mean, I guess that's when you use a helicopter.
So the helicopter thing was just super weird because I knew that he was flying helicopters.
He always did it. That's crazy.
You know, he'd flown on helicopters thousands of times before that. You know, and their training facilities like up in Thousand Oaks too. So it's just an absolute.
It's a heartbreaker. I mean, especially growing up in LA. Like, I was never a big basketball fan. For those of you that don't know me super long, I was like 4 foot growing up. I was a little guy.
Yeah.
So
Finn was a late bloomer.
I was a late bloomer, but you know, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just a little sensitive about it. But I mean, I wasn't even a basketball fan, but I just respected Kobe and his competitive hustle, and just like he was a Laker, and like he was part of our city, and he took such pride in representing Los Angeles that like anyone from the world over just respected him as a hustler. You know what I mean? I grew up thinking like that guy is a competitor. Like that guy doesn't lose, and he like puts everything on the line for his team. I mean, I remember seeing games of him playing injured, him putting up freaking 70 points, dude. I mean, just
he tore his Achilles and walked out and hit 2 free throws, and then he was out for the season.
The guy like didn't feel pain.
I think Klay Thompson did the
same
thing in the playoffs too, which was awesome.
But I mean, Kobe in competitives, like he is up there with MJ, LeBron, like dude, no one out hustled him.
His documentary.
He has another level of like grit, you know.
So that morning, it was actually like I was like getting the jitters while we were watching this. But one of my buddies was sitting with me when we found out, and he's like, "Yo, have you seen Mamba, like his Muse documentary?" And I was like, "It's all about like his mental and his high school years, and it doesn't really touch much on his." Winning rings and like relationship with Shaq and stuff. It's more just about his mentality. And dude, that was just so chilling to watch that. Yeah. Like just sitting with that news is brutal.
One of the last things also that I got to see about him that I didn't know while he was alive, unfortunately, is like he took massive pride in like being a really respectable member of his community after his basketball career. So, like, for example, like, he was really into investing in, like, real estate and companies. Mm-hmm. And he said, like, if it's up to me, my legacy is going to be as an investor, not a basketball player. Which is kick-ass. Dude. I mean, this is someone who's, like, already become one of the greatest of all time and is like, hey, guess what? I want to change the communities around me. Like, he wants to give back. This guy wants to, like, make it easier, like...
I remember, if he wants to be remembered as an investor... He can be known for making that badass body armor investment.
Yes, dude.
I think he put in like $5 million, probably like, I don't even know, like maybe 5 years ago, and his stake is worth like $200 million now.
Yeah, dude. Shaq, good investment.
Dude, this guy wears many hats.
That's just awesome. And think of what he would have done if he could have been around a little bit longer.
Dude, it's crazy because the one thing that was wild to me is like Bill Russell is like still alive. Like there are like only a handful of like NBA legends that are like dead right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the other thing is like when you
live
like
that NBA big, guys like live very, very long lives, and it was just like, dude, that was not supposed to happen.
When you're like, that big of a character, it doesn't make sense for you to go early. It doesn't.
No,
you think this is a trap? Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But...
one last thing on this before we move on. I remember on a talk show, I think he was on First Take or something, but Ice Cube, obviously LA icon as well. Something that he said that always stuck with me is like Kobe was definitely the glue that like held LA together.
Yeah, dude, I remember hearing that. That was sick.
Shit's really gone south since he passed away. So he might have been like dead on with that. And
God,
by the
I
way,
hope not.
we're gonna move on to some of the like vandalism and rioting that happened at some point in the city, and no one touched the Kobe murals in town. Absolutely no one.
Good, dude. I mean, you got to respect an icon,
Absolutely.
especially in this city. I mean, that guy's the mayor. I mean, seriously.
And Bay City sandwiches. No one touched that.
And Bay Cities, dude. Literally everywhere around Bay Cities was fine.
Yep.
I don't even think they didn't even board up. They just knew. These guys just literally the biggest BDE. They just like, hey, sorry, They knew. They knew. They're like, we don't need them. We don't need to board up. We're too sick.
No, dude, their sandwiches are too good.
They're gas. Okay, hey, next up. I mean, we don't even need to bring it up. You're living it. COVID-19, the Rona.
How did you find out about COVID? How early was it? And
you know what?
How loosely did you take
Shout
it?
out Tommy Vondre. You better be listening to this, Tommy. You're the one. You and your girlfriend spooked me. I was not that freaked out about it. I was just chilling. It was around our spring break. I was gonna head back to LA. And all of a sudden, him and Charlie are like, dude, like, we might not go to our trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, they went to Hawaii on
fan.
Spring break. Come on.
Yeah, you guys are sick. We get it. But, like, they're like, dude, we might not go to our trip. I'm like, wait, do I actually need to be worried about this? I thought it was just one of those, like, media phenomena things, like World War freaking III, you know, where it's just, like
another just,
blown
like,
out of proportion. It's kind of
tactic.
similar timeline, so I'm like, dude, just getting blown up. Then they show me this freaking video that's this graphic of, like, a, you know, XY axis, and it's, like, every other, like, disease growing and how fast it grows, and then it was, like, COVID-19 cases extrapolated for the same amount of time.
Yeah, it's like that very simple graph they show you that's like, this is a linear graph.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And then they're like, this is an exponential
you're
graph.
like, oh, fuck, those are bad.
You're like, dude, I don't want to fuck with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's good. So, this was an exponential graph. And then you're like, at first it's starting out and you're like, dude, that's kosher. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, I can weather that.
Oh, my God.
And then it gets big and you're like, dude, that's not it. Like, I was like... So then I got all, like, spooked out from it. Called my mom, ended up coming home, and never headed back to school. I ended up staying there for spring break. So Tommy Vondre and Charlie Sohn, they were up to date.
And then you were on lockdown in LA after that?
So yeah, I literally came home for spring break.
Wow.
Never got to say goodbye to any of my homies.
Dude, yeah.
Which sucked.
We gotta do a bit about that.
We'll give a little shout out eventually, but never got to say goodbye to anyone, and then my college just sent us an email saying, hey, if you're home for spring break, stay there because school's over. All my buddies lived in the fraternity house, so they got kicked out because it's school housing technically. So all of them had to leave, so there was really no point in me going back. So I've been kicking it here since.
Yeah, dude. One of my buddies who was a pre-med guy, and he's always the guy who, like, he's like, oh yeah, the science behind that is like blah blah blah, and you're just like,
just one of those
whatever,
medical flexers.
Whatever, dude, right?
Oh god, those people.
But he's probably like the smartest kid.
I'm gonna be a doctor.
No, but he's actually like very very smart.
Yeah.
But you know, he comes through, and I don't know when this was. It was like when you just started reading articles about it, like probably like 5 months ago at this point, maybe even longer than that. But it was way before spring break, and he's like, "Yo, dude, did you hear about this virus?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
That's never a good sentence. Those are the worst sentences.
I'm like, dude, I don't know if I want to hear about it. And he's like, "Well, these guys were like eating bats in China, and now
that's another bit of fake news." Actually.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's gross. Number one,
that's not cool. Don't eat them.
But yeah, I was like, who'd do that? And then he's like, yeah, dude, it's spreading like a lot. And there are like cases like showing up all over the place. And I'm like, dude, this does not sound good.
That's not hype. Yeah.
Fast forward like 3 weeks. This is after spring break. So I think honestly, spring break definitely had a lot to do with how the virus spread to college campuses. Like, and that's undeniable because we know a kid from high school who went to like Cabo, and like 7 out of 7 dudes he went with, they go to Vanderbilt. Like, a lot of them caught COVID apparently.
Yeah, dude. Same story at FSU. At all these other schools.
Yeah, dude. And then there's that.
Also, very on brand for you, FSU. You are such a dirty school.
Who was that?
Such a
who
dirty
was that stupid dude who's like, yo, like he was at like Myrtle Beach at like a really
that video.
A really beat like spring break spot, like a
dirty Myrtle.
A trash spring break spot, and he's got his like backwards flat bill, and he's just like on Fox News, like, yeah, dude, we are partying no matter what.
Bro, we're just trying to have a good time. We don't give a shit. Like, fucking some
He just
Chinese
did
virus.
he just did some like
dude,
push-ups for the video too. His like pecs are
get
popping.
nice
He's
and just
like,
juiced up
he's
from
just
the
like
camera.
flexing. He's
like,
like, dude, we are not gonna not party. What is coronavirus?
Dude, yeah.
And then that guy got it too. It's like I'm pretty sure that.
I hope he got it, bro. I mean, just if karma's
my
real, he gets
God.
it. You know, he gets it.
So yeah, spring break happens. No one I know personally got, aside from that one kid, got coronavirus at Michigan at least over the break. But you started to hear rumors, and it was like, kind of like McCarthyism, bro.
Yo,
it was
totally.
Like, it was like, yo, I'm hearing so and so's got coronavirus, and it's like, whoa, like.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you,
dude,
like,
it's like, oh my God, is this
your
happening?
opinion of them
Is this
totally
actually
changes.
happening?
You're like, wow.
Were they fucking around?
This is obviously like months and months ago, so the context of it is way different.
Are we talking
now.
like March?
I'm talking, yeah, like right
April?
before
March,
St. Patty's
April?
Day. So
Yeah.
we're talking like late April, early March.
Okay.
And then a lot of my Barcelona friends and I had a plan because I was telling them, well, you and I have to tell our St. Patty's Day story one day
Eventually.
on this podcast.
It's
We have
pretty
a legendary St. Patty's Day to talk about in Dublin where we met up. But I was telling them that St. Patty's Day is definitely like my favorite day of the year at Michigan, and I was bummed that I was missing it. And so we had planned like a year in advance that was going to be like our big meetup after our abroad program ended, right? So one of my friends comes out from Washington State. Shout out to Cal. Two of my friends come out from IU, Mac and Steve, and we have a fun weekend planned. But pretty much that was like the last weekend that bars were open in the state of Michigan, I think. And then soon enough, like my friends had to shorten their flights. One of my friends lived in Ann Arbor, and his parents didn't even let him leave to go back to IU.
Damn.
And basically, my parents called me up like probably 4 days after St. Patty's Day, like March 21st, maybe. Yeah, that's March 21st. And they're like, yeah, we think we're hearing all these rumors. They were like all about like the TSA rumors, right? They're like, we know someone that knows someone that says that Gavin Newsom's going to close down the airports.
Completely. You're going to be stuck
Dude,
where
they're
you
so
are.
into that kind of
Dude,
conspiracy.
that was some freaking McCarthyism stuff too, though. Like nobody knew.
It's just like
anything.
All the misinformation going down was just freaking weird.
Dude, they're low-key's like still misinformation.
Yeah. Dude.
Like, I remember thinking
there are
if you
people
touch
that
stuff,
like firmly believe that coronavirus does not exist.
well, yeah, those people are just
like that
dumb.
is wild.
You might be anti-vaxxers.
Dude.
If you are one of these guys, you may be an anti-vaxxer.
Here's the thing. Anti-vaxxers, what are they going to do now? Like, are they going to take it when they make it? Or what's the deal?
I think it's a lifestyle. I think you stick by that.
Is it a freaking lifestyle? Dude, they might require you to have the vaccine to go to other countries or to get a passport.
Dude, but like, what I didn't understand was like, at first it was like, if you touch stuff, you could get it, which makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was like, and then afterwards it was like, oh shit, you actually need to be wearing face masks too.
Dude,
and then I'm like, oh crap, so I've just been doing the wrong thing this whole time?
Freaking...
And then it became, you can touch whatever you want, but face masks are a must. And I'm like, dude, how did it take us this long? I'm not a science guy.
Dude.
Hey, science guys.
They were talking.
Let me know in the comments section. But how did we not know that for like
drop some
4
science
months?
in the comments section.
Dude, it made no sense to me. It literally made negative sense.
Yeah.
A lot of misinformation.
Dude, absolutely wild.
And as a result, I mean, those early months of coronavirus were scary, dude. I remember being like,
super scary.
I just like, it was weird. I'd never been so like conscious of everything I touched, dude. It was like, just touch my trash can to go put trash into it. I'm like,
I think
God, that's disgusting. Like, I've never really thought it was disgusting before, but all of a sudden everything became gross, you know? Like, weird, dude.
Dude, I feel like everybody kind of watched Deal or No Deal as a kid and was like, why does this guy only fist bump people?
Right?
Good
old Howie.
Howie Mandel.
Shout out Howie.
Bona fide germaphobe. He was just on it before everybody else. This guy knew something that we didn't.
100%. Also, great coronavirus movie since apparently we're still in this shit. The Aviator. The Aviator, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Ooh.
The GOAT. It's about Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes was a massive germaphobe.
Yeah.
Also a genius and a self-made billionaire. So back when like being a billionaire was non-existent, in like
so
the 60s.
Similar to you, my exit story was pretty sad.
Mm.
In terms of like how college ended. Like ultimately, we're telling our stories about college ended, which should end with a banger weekend with you walking across the stage, getting a diploma, maybe doing a jumping jack or something. I don't even know.
Some sick, like one of those like little Breakfast Club, like
some guys like shotgun a beer, do something stupid. But
those guys.
I had planned something like that. But
oh, he's one of those guys.
But the world will never know. It was about to go down.
Leave it to your imagination.
But yeah, my parents called me that, and I was like told a couple of people, like close friends of mine that I live with. I live with like kind of smaller group of like our larger pledge class, and I was like, yeah, dude, my parents like are really trying to get me to go home, and like words started to like fizzle out a little bit, and then I start hearing from like a lot of my friends like, yo, dude, like, are you leaving? Right? Like they're all just like asking me like, yo, are you leaving, dude? And I was like, no, like, cause like it was like in a timeline of like 3 days. Like the first day I was like planning on staying there for like the long term, like way past when our graduation would have been. And by then the graduation had been officially canceled too. So like, there's nothing really to like stay for in terms of a ceremony, right? Like my family had already canceled all the Airbnbs and stuff. And then I basically the next day, my parents like bought me a flight and sent me the confirmation email, and I was like, oh shit. Like I basically had to like pack up all my stuff and say goodbye to the people that I could within like a 4-hour time span. And then
that sucks, man.
Booyah, I was in here. This is also my bed, by the way. This is a pull-out couch.
Well, to be fair, this is more than a bed. This is a brib. We are coming to you live from the brib.
This is the multifunctional space of multifunctional spaces.
It's the WeWork of before WeWork.
Yo, but this stock's going up. We work tank like
is booty.
Yeah, so the lady that did the I don't even know if it's a guy or lady, but there's a crazy documentary. Talk about What's Up, Doc. There's one.
Dude, we're firing movies.
Additional
right now. This might become a movie podcast.
Yo, additional What's Up, Doc. I forget the name of it, but it's about the lady who faked it. The lady who did Theranos, which is
blood. It's something blood.
Oh, it's like blood in the valley or something like that.
No, it's
basically
not. It's just like
this lady like was the most savage businesswoman ever. That when she realized that her product was complete bullshit, she like lied about it for like years. A couple more like series of funding, like a series series C,
a couple more like millions of dollars.
Series C, Series D, got the government involved. Like we're sending them fake reports.
Blew up. And this is a pharma company too.
It's big dude. We got to have a big pharma episode. We need to bring on someone who knows about that because
just take down those bastards.
How freaking confusing is big pharma, bro? Like no one knows.
Corrupt. Anything. How corrupt is? I'm convinced anything that's like way too diluted to like understand politics in general. Gotta be just corrupt.
One of our homies' brothers, he's all good. Before we say this, one of our homies' brothers fell through a skylight and fell down the chute like 4 stories.
Yeah, wild.
And he landed on his feet, so he's all good. And
a 4-story fall.
This happened 3 months ago, and he's totally chill. It's crazy. He was playing die with us the other day.
Doctors are literally like, dude, you should be dead or paralyzed forever. And this guy's just hucking cubes.
Dude, straight hucking cubes. Shout out to Luke.
Luke, yeah, way to be a miracle.
You're a good dude.
Yeah, you're a good dude. You deserve that.
But his hospital bill was like so much money, bro. Like 6 figures. By a lot. And I'm like, dude, I saw this thing on Twitter.
And naturally he shit his pants when he saw it. He was like, dude, I am never going to financially recover from this.
I will never recover from this.
But dude,
What's that from?
Tiger King. We will talk about that a little later. It's on the list.
Tiger King's 2 items lower, bro. Oh my god.
We gotta speed up. Okay, so
we're going.
But either way, he sees this and he's like, dude, this is horrible. Like, this is horrible. I'm never gonna be able to pay that off. But then you have like your copay, which
we don't need to talk about the details of paying for shit.
My whole point was that it's like, how does that get worked out? Like, I understand nothing.
I think he's chilling, honestly. He told me how he's like on 2 different insurances.
No,
but
he's chilling, but like,
I
how
don't
does
know.
insurance companies like?
That's not fact, by the way. I don't know what the deal is with that.
We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah, let's stop talking about that.
I was just more talking about insurance companies as a whole. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
okay.
And like how they.
If anybody knows someone who's smart and knows about big pharma and
Actually.
wants to drop some knowledge on this pod,
or insurance,
drop a comment. That would be very cool. All right,
we might get no.
we're gonna sidestep COVID.
And
Okay,
Zoom.
wait.
Let's good Zoom.
The one thing I want to say is when shit got real for me, and I feel like it was the same for a lot of people, was when the NBA shut down.
Oh yeah,
the NBA shut down, which, dude, seems like a lifetime ago.
for real.
The NBA kicks off in a month from today, so which is very exciting. We're gonna get Kawhi and LeBron going at it night 1.
Lakers finally get a dub.
Shout out to J.R. Smith, just got signed by the Lakers. That's hype.
Oh, I missed that.
I want to talk about the J.R. Smith video too at some point.
Next on the list was Zoom, but I think we should skip Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom is
It's beat. Zoom,
Zoom is beat.
you
That's
fumbled
what
the
we wanna
bag,
say.
Zoom. You had it, and then you
Dude.
fumbled it. And it's like, that was a fuck up.
we get the bag and flip it and tumble it,
And
right?
Zoom gets the bag, and they just fucking kick it off a
no,
bridge.
they get the bag and flip it and tumble it.
No,
I said that backwards.
dude, Zoom just is beat. They just,
Alright.
they fucked
That's
up.
what I get for trying to quote.
Oh, coming to you live. We hinted at it. Tiger
Alright.
King.
Zoom also, that stock went through the roof. Like, holy shit. That was crazy. But,
Yeah.
all right.
Tiger
Next
King.
thing that
Holy
happens is,
shit.
okay,
Tiger King
everybody
was
knows.
perfect for quarantine.
Everybody knows that one time where they pulled up Netflix and they saw the banner right there on top of Netflix, #1 in the U.S. today. I kind of like how Netflix starts ranking the shit that's super popular because
Okay,
I don't like having to search for shit on
non
Netflix.
sequitur. I think that's fake. I think all that's fake.
It's
I think
an
they just
algorithm
put-
for
I think
sure.
they just put rankings on what they want to push hard.
Yeah, whatever.
You know what I mean?
I just like
I don't
it.
know if it's actually the #1. I think they're just like, because every time I'll see, like, once in a while I'll see something, I'm like, dude, there's no way that like a quarter of Netflix is watching this garbage. Sorry,
Dude,
continue.
I have more crazy Netflix shit to talk about, but
We got a lot to say.
dude, I know we got time, baby. We're good. So okay, everybody, I'm trying to paint this picture for you guys. So you're on Netflix and you see this picture of this freaking weird dude. He's got earrings in his eyebrows and like 7 on each ear.
One of them's just falling off
The guy's
his face.
got
like,
a bleached mohawk with like, you know, obviously it's bleached because the side of his head is dark, and he's got this gnarly handlebar mustache, and you're like, there's no way I'm watching this, right? Like everybody skipped that the first time they looked at it. Like, this guy's a freak. I'm not watching it, right?
Dude.
At least that was for me.
I'm a little more white trash than I think most people do, because
Okay.
I saw this.
Bama has
absolute-
entered the chat.
Yeah, Bama has entered
Bama
the
has
chat.
entered
Bama
the
enters the chat. All right, so I see this just hog of a dude, just like piercing, like falling off his eyebrow, like
Oh
it's
my
hanging on
God.
for dear life. His like skin is like wrinkly, like the dude looks like a sack. Like
Oh.
he's just grody looking, and he's just tearing it up on like a freaking wake, like a jet ski, just
Yeah.
ripping it on a jet ski, and it said Tiger King, murder, mayhem, and something else.
Yeah, what was the other?
Oh, that got me. I was
You're like
on it. I was
want
like-
in on that.
I watched maybe 6 seconds of the trailer, and I'm like, I'm bored enough. Yeah, dude. Also, what I was saying, perfect for COVID.
Dude, the
I had nothing to
timing-
do. I
the-
had nothing to do.
The timing of the Tiger King drop was immaculate for those producers. I'm sure they were nowhere, like, they probably
Preparing,
exceeded
yeah.
their streaming projections by like 10 times. I would guess.
I mean, I bet it was pretty freaking low budget to film that. They're just trouncing
I mean,
around
yeah,
like
that dude,
the boonies of Missouri or
that dude
friggin'
was
wherever
just
they were.
living in that shithole and filming
Yeah.
that, and then they freaking burned the whole thing.
Oh, but dude, there's some theories
Did you
that
remember
he
that?
burnt it down.
That's what I'm saying. It might be arson, dude.
Okay, well, and that guy's fucking strange because apparently he was like a really successful reporter on like national news.
Dude, that's fake news, though.
And
Why
then-
would you take this project if you were successful at all? Like, why would you go
Dude,
live?
I mean, he was a
He
reporter on
lived
national news.
He lived in bummy Oklahoma.
Dude, I don't think he did live there. I think he moved there to like cover this stuff. 'Cause
No, that's
he
what
was
I'm saying.
like, this
Tiger
guy's
King lived-
such a freak.
Tiger King lives in bummy Oklahoma. Why is this guy going from a metropolitan area to live with this? Psycho.
Apparently, because he's like trying to he saw the value of like a reality TV show in it. Which, to be fair, I mean, we got a documentary.
If you got any chunk of
imagine
change
making
from
that
this,
a reality TV show, dude.
Imagine
like
if
6 seasons. Like that shit's crazy.
Imagine if you pulled like a Johnny Depp and you're like, yo, I don't want to get paid anything for this movie, but I'll take like 1% of the proceeds.
Oh, is that his move?
Oh, that's total Johnny Depp move.
You gotta love that. That's
Johnny Depp.
Again, BDE. I mean, this guy literally knows he's gonna
Johnny
slay.
Depp,
That's Bay City's energy.
Talk about BDE, dude. I heard a hilarious story on Rogan that I want to relay to the people. That Johnny Depp. So, by the way, like Johnny Depp will take equity in a movie rather than any amount of money because he's just like, I'm gonna kill this shit.
He just knows he's a G.
And that's how you become a boss.
He's right.
And he gets all that royalty money. Like that money keeps going. By the way, what's that guy on the Marlins who makes $1.2 million every July 1st? We should celebrate him today. His name is Bonilla, I think.
Way over my head, but dude, you're a stud.
I saw it on
July 1st.
I saw it on social media today. Shout out to that guy. He brokered some long-term deal that makes him paid $1.2 million every year for like 35 years rather than taking a big-ass deal. Yeah.
Dude, and so he knew he was going to blow it, and he was like, yo, I only need $1.2 million.
He got his bag. He got his bag in like 2000 and is going to be paid until he's like 70 years old by the Mets.
So he said, let's publish for clearinghouse this bitch and just
Before I sidetrack again, that GM, like, dude.
We're in like we're in like sidetrackception right now.
That GM, dude, like, what was going through his head?
That's a bad deal.
They must have had zero cap space.
I mean, is that not like...
But there's no cap in baseball.
Is that not like a $40 million contract at the end of the day? Probably more than that, 45.
There's straight up no salary cap in baseball, though. So, like, why would he need to spread it out over so many... I don't know, dude.
Dude, I don't know. I mean, is $45 million a big MLB contract? Pretty big.
Dude, $45 million?
I mean, I don't know how...
any capacity is awesome.
This guy was. I mean, again, his July 1st are a lot freaking better. Let's work our way back then.
I'm gonna skip... Okay, we're doing the Inception thing. I'm in Dream 3 right now.
Dream 3.
Finn just gave me the kick, and I'm going back to Dream 2, right? Yeah. So, the Johnny Depp story. I heard it on Joe Rogan. It was a hilarious story. So, Johnny Depp lives up in the Hollywood Hills, lives on a private street, and is so, like, psycho that he wants no neighbors. So he bought all the houses on the street, right?
Dude, that's
past the gates. So he probably owns like 10 houses in this one area, right?
That's
because he takes equity for his movies. The dude's a freaking genius. All right?
That's pretty crazy though.
This guy's a boss. Absolute boss.
That's a maybe Jim Carrey level crazy.
Okay, the BDE that comes in later is there's one dude who's like stuck up and didn't sell him his house, right? And Johnny Depp's got...
I mean, stuck up.
Johnny Depp's got that FU money where he probably tried to throw him like $20 million for his house. A stupid like overvaluation to just get him to leave, right? And the guy doesn't sell him his house. So what he does is he doesn't even live next to this guy. He just like wants to have no neighbors. He put...
like, describe no neighbors. Like, how big of a spot is he like, nope, too many people near me?
Dude, I don't want to speculate because I heard this story from someone who heard this story. But it's probably like 5 houses, maybe more.
Jesus, that's a lot.
But yeah, and that's in the hills too. So I don't know. This guy's got unbelievable money. So what he does is he builds this big clay statue on top of the chimney closest to this guy's house, and it's a big middle finger. So the guy,
oh my god,
the guy has a middle finger elite. Facing his house at all times. Oh.
Dude, no, man,
Johnny Depp just freaking woo.
Dude, did he move?
Dude, I just heard this story from a guy who heard this
story.
Dude,
I hope that happens to me because I'll start building stuff in response.
I do not know the follow-up.
I'm the perfect guy for a war like that. It wouldn't be a war. That'd be fun.
That guy should just... He could probably sell his house to Johnny Depp for so much.
Dude, like, I'd rather be the guy...
Why don't you just get your bag and go move to the beach?
Dude, here's why.
Who is this guy?
Here's why.
I want to know who he is.
Because only so many people get to be someone's arch nemesis.
Why would you want to be Jack Sparrow's arch nemesis?
No, dude. Okay, every Perry the Platypus has a Doofenshmirtz, bro.
True.
To be Johnny Depp, Doofenshmirtz is kind of sick. Like, also, shout out Jack Russell my Doofenshmirtz. That's sick.
You know a guy named Doofenshmirtz that you call
No, he looks identical to Doofenshmirtz, and everyone calls him Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
We gotta have a pic of this guy.
Oh, I'll get him.
We'll see.
Maybe we'll like clip one in.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Let's try that out.
Dude, but, yeah, I mean, don't take the money. Become Jack Sparrow's freaking arch nemesis in real life. I'm about that.
So he's Davy Jones in real life.
Yeah, dude, Davy Jones is one ugly freaking dude. Okay, we gotta work our way back.
All right, so
we're
now
tangenting again.
I'm gonna kick Finn, and he's gonna break down Tiger King a little more.
Dude, yeah, so God, we didn't even make it through our freaking first impressions of Tiger King. God.
Yeah, dude.
We're good. We got
really
that.
gotta stay focused here. But
yeah,
so
loading
long story
with Will and
short,
Finn, the ADD
long story
kids.
short, I basically need like 10 people to tell me to watch Tiger King in order for me to watch it, because I'm like, dude, this guy looks so ridiculous. But then it got to a certain point where every single meme on Twitter was of this guy or of some weird ass scene. Like, dude, that photo, oh my god, we have to talk about the cuck of the century. It's the guy's
Carol's
name Harold.
wife. Oh my
Is
god.
the guy's name Harold the Baskin?
Harold and Carol, and this guy's just like
Dude,
a little cat. He's like,
All right.
holy.
the word simp was not invented before this documentary.
Well, I digress. I don't like that. I've been using Sims since like the 6th grade.
Okay, I stand
Invented that
corrected.
shit, baby.
Finn has been using Stim. Finn is an OG.
I'm an OG simp.
Whoa.
Oh no,
He
maybe.
just called himself a simp.
It
guys.
could be.
Yo, get at him in the YouTube comment section.
But this guy though, he is the epitome of a simp.
Okay, so this guy is, for their wedding photo, he's like, all right, I'll put a freaking leather collar on me, and I'll put this freaking diaper on, and I'll kneel in the sand.
Dude,
and
in some Fred
you can-
Flintstones ass like cheetah like
Yeah,
leopard
dude.
print, bro. Like,
and he's
just,
like,
dude,
yeah, dude, that's totally chill. Oh my god, bro, how does
Dude,
that guy? How
well,
does that
okay,
guy?
That's the tip of the iceberg, because he's also like helping his wife defend the murder she like most definitely freaking committed.
Okay, yes, that's something.
And he's
that,
like about it. He's like, bro, like she's not
Okay.
going to jail. She didn't do it. I'm like, the whole world's convinced.
I
she
would
did
like
it.
to talk to someone who's convinced that she is innocent,
I haven't heard one yet.
because I haven't met one,
No,
dude.
they're not out there, dude.
And they reopened the case, but
It's 'cause
she's got so much guap because of that. Okay,
How's their money in this?
things that I heard
Crazy.
that make it obvious to me that she did it. Right? I heard on the Pat McAfee show is awesome if you don't watch it. It's this old punter from the Indianapolis Colts. He runs like a media show for like 3 hours a day. He does a podcast with AJ Hawk. They had this old Packers lineman on there named TJ Lang, and who's an actual hilarious dude. But his whole point was like, okay, so her whole story was that he told her that he was going to Costa Rica, right? And then flew away, right? And
Just
the car was there.
Magically flew away,
And
left
the
the car in
plane
the
was
airport
gone.
with like the door open, like the dude's in a rush.
Okay.
Like,
How about, like, if you know someone is going on vacation somewhere, why would you report them missing the very next day?
I literally never thought about that, but that's
Like,
so
dude,
true.
What a freaking great point.
I
If
never
you
thought
think
about that.
someone's going on vacation and they're going on a week vacation, you don't freaking call the cops like the next morning saying, I think my husband is missing.
No, hell no. That's
Are
a
you kidding
phenomenal
me?
point. Dude, what sussed me out the most was
That's how they
afterwards-
laid it out as like the sequence of events in the documentary. I was like,
That's true, and that was definitely the sequence of events. And then she was all like super shady, didn't tell much, was like really like
Yeah.
wasn't sad either. She was like the guy was a dick.
her brother was on the police force,
Yo, true.
and they didn't sweep the car for prints until like 4 days later, and they let her drive it back to her house.
Yeah.
Dude, everything
Come
about
on.
this thing
Come on.
stinks. Everything about it
Well,
stinks.
what really was sus to me was when Joe Exotic was like, dude, they tried to put something on my shoe, like perfume, for them to bite like my feet. And she was like, everybody knows if you wanted someone
Oh
to be
my
eaten,
God.
you'd like cover them in sardine oil or something.
Dude,
and I'm
she-
just like, what? Like, I'm sorry.
That is like, that was the most bold-faced, like,
I did this.
I did this I've ever seen, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude,
That took some balls by Carol
so
Baskin. to
we got
say
Carol
that.
Baskins. I mean, Tiger King lived up to the hype, dude. It was everything I thought it
100%.
was gonna
So,
be.
yeah.
And it brought memes that were desperately needed in COVID, in the era of COVID.
Yes.
I was so bored.
Yes.
It was low, and not only did it give me like 12 hours of viewing, but it also gave me like easily 100 hours of like BS deep fried memes on Twitter and like Instagram.
It provided entertainment for probably like 2 months.
Yeah,
months.
months.
I would say. Multiple months.
Put the world on its back.
And a little update that I have for everybody. I don't know if you're as much as a Twitter fiend as I am, but I saw an update recently that Carol Baskin bought the zoo off Jeff Lowe.
That's
Wild turn of events. Carol Baskin owns the freaking Joe Exotic Zoo, and
which is the other half of this
that
story.
means she won.
Dude, what's the other half of this story, which is like somehow
But what if she
she's
gets
the
brought?
good guy?
What if she gets brought down, dude?
She's the good guy, but she does the exact same thing he does. She like keeps these lions in captivity, and the whole time she's like, well, he keeps them in captivity, and there's like a lion in a cage that seems smaller than his. And she's like, well, I love these lions. I'm like, you seem pretty freaking crazy and like kind of doing the same thing and making way more money off of it.
She has a fair point, but she has like this bullshit like volunteer program where she like basically like convinces all these like ladies that are just sweet ladies and want to help out animals to
messed up, man.
To work for free essentially. And it's not like Joe Exotic paid them either. Like they made like $10 a week or something, $100 a week, something stupid. But
at least they like
that kind of rubbed me the wrong way that she thought she was up here on moral high ground. But you know, she's just basically running like a giant like scheme.
At the end of the day, the only place these animals need to be is in the wild. So,
dude, no, that's the thing. The crazy part is like you can't release them because they're all gonna get.
That's my point. It's like they need to stop breeding them. These people should have the responsibility of taking care of these animals until they naturally die, and don't breed any more of them. Because guess what?
Dude, but there's so many psychos out there, dude.
Shoving them in a cage like that. And this is a creature that is supposed to like patrol 400 square miles, and you're gonna shove it in a cage that's the size of like the Brib. Like, come on.
Yeah, a lion could not live here. A lion currently does live here, though.
2 lions live here.
Hey.
No.
Did you just flex on that?
I did. Dude, and then here's my other thing, is if she's just gonna, and this is why I called her shady, if she's just gonna take over his zoo, what is she gonna do? Fill it with big cats and pay people to watch them?
Dude.
That's exactly what he did. Like,
the thing that's, you kind of have to lend her some credit. She definitely runs a smoother operation, we could say, because the dude was feeding him like fucking, like month-old meat from Walmart that he would find in the dumpster.
Yeah, that was gross.
Dude, that was disgusting, bro. And he would serve that on his pizza to his customers.
Oh, God, bro.
Oh. That was disgusting. He made that like Thanksgiving dinner.
And his employees were just
taco meat, dude. That taco meat had to be like 6 months old, bro.
Oh. Okay. I almost didn't mention this. I don't know if we would have mentioned it. This dude, Joe Exotic, got like a quarter of the vote for Oklahoma governor.
What?
A quarter of the vote, dude. Like,
dude, that state is wild.
Hey, Oklahoma. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay.
I don't think I know anybody from Oklahoma.
I do. But Dak, you're better than that. You're better than that.
The guy's name is
You would
Dak.
never do it. Dude, yeah. I mean, come on. That Tiger King did not disappoint.
Okay.
We got to move on, though.
We're going to move on from Tiger King, but we have so much to talk about.
This next one's good.
Okay.
UFOs.
Yeah.
You heard?
You heard of UFOs.
Yerd.
All right, so dude, I'm just dropping What's Up Docs this whole thing. The reason that I was kind of on the UFO bandwagon was because there was this sick documentary on Netflix about a guy named Bob Lazar, who was the original whistleblower about Area 51.
Yes.
And the guy, dude, I believe the guy, and
100%.
obviously I think the government he probably lit a fire under their ass because that thing
took off.
Was pretty like detailed. Like I feel like a lot of people on Twitter are obviously just trying to poke holes in his story saying he's full of shit, but I believe him. You know what I mean? Like why would you make something up like that if the FBI is on your ass your whole life?
Dude, and more than that, he actually caught the government in some bullshit where he made it look bad. Because, like, for example, I think the dude went to Harvard. And
I don't know. I think
he went to some
I think he went
phenomenal,
to maybe Stanford.
Yeah, he went to some phenomenal school, and he's like an astrophysicist. basically are like a physicist or something.
So cool.
And
to
then
say that you're
basically
one of those things.
they tried to say, yeah, this is a sick profession, by the way. They tried to say this guy never went there. He's a fraud. He's made up. And he was basically like, if you looked through the database, his degrees didn't show up. But like he has degrees, has like
Dude, I think
records of him going to school
since
there.
he was
like
such a high profile
they
dude.
like freaking tampered with his shit, and like he basically caught them in a lie. And like for me, that was one of the more legit things where I'm like, dude, if people are fucking with you, there's got to be some bit of integrity to your truth. You know?
So essentially, the next crazy thing that happened in 2020 was that the Pentagon just released these photos and were like, yeah, UFOs are real. And all these crazy people that have been crying wolf for a long time are just like basically did like a Tiger Woods like fist pump. But the crazy part is that's all you really get, you know. Like,
dude, I forgot what happened that day, but something gnarly happened that day. It was like barely made the news too. Like most people probably don't know.
It just got skimmed right over.
If you don't know about this, look up released or like declassified pictures of UFOs, and they're actually videos. And they're not recent too. They've been released.
No, they're mad old.
They've been released. Like I saw them in like high school.
Images.
Yeah, I saw them in high school. But I guess the Pentagon released that they actually acknowledged them as like UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaky shit, dude. It's like Air Force pilots that see these like flying objects that like stay in one place and just start like pivoting like this, which is like physically impossible. Like, you can't just stay in one place and, like, just turn upside down and back. And then, all of a sudden, just, like, show up, like, 30 feet.
Yeah, dude.
Or not 30 feet, like, 300 yards over there. Like,
there's definitely some... they have some sort of technology that we don't, and it's scary as shit.
Hot take, I'm not that scared. Dude.
You don't think they're going to come after us, bro?
If they're like, why haven't
What if an
already?
alien was like, come at me, bro?
Oh, I would not like that, but why would... Okay, I feel like if they would have done something... I would not be a fan of that, okay? But
No.
I feel like they would have done something if they wanted to. You know what I mean? If these fools are just so elite that they break our modern understanding of physics, like...
I just want them to share their knowledge, bro. I want them to share the knowledge,
dude,
bro.
What if they're like a god figure, like watching us from afar, just checking in, you know?
It definitely is.
We're like their Sims. And they're just checking in every once in a while. They're like, oh, they learned how to fly planes. That's so cute. Like,
yeah, we definitely live in a simulation.
They're just watching us burn this shit down.
All right, moving on. Oh, yeah, this was awesome. So, stimulus checks. So, I guess, no, I should not say this was awesome because the reason for the stimulus check is because there's a straight up because
it's fucked.
Worse than the Great Depression going down. Like, 40 million Americans out of work, including me.
Yeah.
What up?
Yours truly as well.
And dude, I didn't even know I had one coming my way, but some miracle direct deposit from a random person that I don't even know, $1,200 dropped in there, and I was like, oh, sweet.
Dude, do you have a sugar daddy? Maybe?
I think Uncle... No, definitely not.
Yeah, you thought about it.
I was about to say Uncle Sam was behind.
Maybe those feet pics are paying off, you know? Like, it's working out for you.
Feet pics, dude. All about the feet pics.
Dude, but stimulus check was awesome.
Okay.
Yes. I hope it pays off and we don't, debt's a lie. What am I kidding? I mean, we can't pay off our debt. It's never gonna happen. Debt's a lie.
Yeah, dude, we owe so much money to China,
I will say, I think we've got, mad disposable income available despite being in a pretty economic dire situation. So hopefully whenever this stuff does get moving again, people have enough DI and just energy to get back out there.
The thing that I would also another plea for someone who eventually hopefully watches this, if you know about how the corporate versus the stimulus package was a certain amount of money, but then they flooded a bunch of cash into stocks and stuff to try and keep them afloat as well. So if anybody knows specifically, I don't even know if those numbers are public, but if anybody understands where the gigantic, the trillions and trillions of money went, that would be quite interesting to know.
Okay, so I think a little bit of that was from I think a little QE. There we go, sorry. Pardon me for any mic problems we've been having.
Yeah, we're rookies. We don't know how to do
Earbuds,
this
dude.
mic shit.
I think a lot of it might have been a little quantitative easing where they were just buying corporate bonds to try to like stimulate them through this.
Mm-hmm.
I think those were for really big companies, and then I think other ones for like smaller businesses is you could apply. You gave them how much money you were making, how many employees that you had to keep on, and they gave you enough money to keep them on for like I think 2 months. 2 or 3 months for small businesses. I know that's kind of the
small businesses could apply for like an emergency loan.
It happened quick though. It happened really quick.
Dude, but like a very silent.
My friend's dad got one in like literally like 5 days.
My point here is like a very silent, like massive amount of money just went to like the top line. You know what I mean?
Like top companies and stuff.
Yeah.
Or
I think that's pretty much fact.
yeah, I don't know the statistics on what percentage of people work for big companies over small companies, but could make sense. Could make sense. I'm not informed enough.
I personally know a couple small business owners that were definitely affected by by COVID, and if you go all in on a small business like I am right now, like, oh, by the way, I wanted to say this before we move on. If you still have some of that stimulus check laying around, like this operation, this little rinky-dink thing we got going right now, was like $200 total. And this is hashtag shop by iPhone, by the way.
Oh god, it is shop by iPhone. There's a 90% chance we're in the next Apple commercial.
I think really Apple should pay us a lot of money because we just promoted them on this video that's going to get like less than 100
Do we
views.
have 2 sponsors? Oh, 2 evil sponsors, Netflix and Apple.
They're not evil.
They're evil corp for sure, bro. They're evil. Hey, if no one listens to it, I know who's listening to this.
Ooh,
Apple.
Siri is listening to this.
Siri, okay, that's right. We at least have 1 viewer.
Hey Siri, I'd love a black pair of pants. Let's see what shows up in my Instagram feed later.
True. I'm a fiend for Instagram ads.
Dude, they get me every time. Okay,
I'm in this middle stage where I'm okay.
This is it right here. Marine Layer represent.
The goat.
This is like probably my favorite brand.
Third sponsor, small business.
Dude, if we get Marine Layer as a sponsor, I would consider
not working. Forever.
I would consider not working.
No,
I literally think that is when we make it. When
I'm doing this full time.
You hear that, Marine Layer? Sponsor us,
please, dude. But I'm a sucker for Instagram ads to the point where I might be okay with the data abuse that's going on because I'm like,
dude, I'm
sorry you're just nailing me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry you got me down. Like,
you're such data hoes, bro.
Dude, I'm a data hoe. Like, they just use my data and they're just like, do you like this? And I'm like, I do. I like that.
They dangle like
this sweet carrot.
This freaking sweet pair of shoes in front of you. You're like, dude.
Fuck, I don't have this money.
Those are probably very poorly made, but they look sweet.
They look so sweet. I don't need them. I got shoes, but I get them. You know?
I don't know, dude.
Real talk though, I'm actually super anti data corruption. I think you should have data rights. We'll go into that. That'd be a great episode. A little data.
Bill of Rights episode. We're gonna bring on a data guy too. Yo, YouTube commenters, if you know,
we gotta get a data guy.
If you know anything about big data, even though I was a data analytics major.
We were both data analytics majors.
I'm supposed to know about this. But I'm not smart enough to like talk about it. You know what I mean?
Dude, I geek over some data.
One thing that stuck with me that I learned from a entrepreneurship class when I was in Barcelona.
He traveled abroad, by the way, and it changed him.
Did I say that more than once? Shit.
He's that guy. Continue. It's a good point.
Abroad changed me. But what I was trying to say was in this entrepreneurship class, this guy had a great lesson actually, where we were talking about big data. And he was going over like the Facebook in the election. We got to talk about that too. That eventually, we're not going to talk about it today because we got to
stay to 2020.
So far off topic. But essentially, he said if the product is free, right? Which how many of these apps that we're downloading are free? Pretty much all of them now.
I haven't paid for an app since the 3rd grade.
Who would pay for an app now? Like seriously, you can get the same app for free.
You know, the only apps I need to pay for is when I'm like stitching a video together for like someone's birthday.
Dude, it's always the freaking.
And even then, I can find one that gives you 2 free trials, and I'm like done. Like,
dude, it's always the stupid like Instagram like crop or like editing apps that
or like audio clip editors and shit like that.
We know
people be buying that. You know what I mean? People need to edit their shit.
Dude, but even then, I haven't bought an app since the 3rd grade. It's
Dude,
been a minute.
I can't even think of the last app you bought.
Dude,
I don't even.
it
I
might
can't
have been
even
like
remember.
MLB, like the show on iPhone, or no, not on iPhone, on iPod Touch. That might have been.
Dude.
It might have been iPod Touch.
iPod
season.
Touch was a game changer.
Dude, yeah.
All right, so if the product is free, then you're the product. Remember that, right?
Facts.
So essentially, on Facebook, on Instagram, any single app that you regularly use, your usage on that app is valuable to anybody who thinks they can sell you something. So basically, that is how Facebook makes all their money. They sell your information to other people in hopes that they can sell to you.
But it's fucked up though,
And
because you have rights to your data.
and
It's
the after
your
part is-
information.
They're
But
really
you
good
have
at
no
it
rights
too.
technically. You have none. Actually,
Well,
you have none.
The U.S. is actually one of
You
the
have
worst
privacy
places.
rights, but you don't have data rights.
The U.S. is actually one of the worst places for privacy and data security in the entire world. Like the EU is cracking down on that. Like they find Facebook like a record like billion amount.
They did, and they also found Cambridge Analytica. I think that was like in London. That was like, I think that's why they're on the data analytics. There's a good documentary about this. Damn, we might just have to call this "What's Up, Dog."
Dude,
We are ripping
changing the
documentary.
name of the podcast right
It's
now?
early on. We're not.
Yo, that's a working title, by the way.
Yeah, it's a
Loading
working-
is a working title. It's
we're
a
like-
loading.
It's
title.
a loading
Did we
title.
just do that?
Oh, God
We
damn,
didn't
we are
even-
deep.
Dude, we're so
deep.
good at this, bro. We didn't even plan that.
We did not. Dude, but there's this documentary that basically talks about the whole Cambridge Analytica thing, and it brings out this
Is that
guy,
the one that's called like it's called like
the hack or something like that?
the big hack or something like that?
Something hack, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. They've got this data bill of rights advocate though, who basically is getting lobbyists to try and give you rights to your data because you have none right now.
Mhm.
Basically, once it's theirs, they can do whatever they want, and everything
Dude,
that you
but-
give, everything that you write, everything that apparently these things listen to you,
The thing that's crazy, bro,
gone.
is
It's gone as soon as it leaves your mouth, and it's not fair, dude. Because data is currency. They're actually thinking about making.
it is.
They're thinking about making data one of the like tangible forms of like the physical universe. Because if you think about it, information is everywhere, right? Everything is information. Like
How would
when
you
you
do
read
that?
something, well, they're just saying data is so ubiquitous. It's so everywhere
Mm.
that you can think about it every time you look at something and you have a thought. There's data being transmitted. Like
This is
data
when we
like,
all get chips in our brains, right? They're gonna be able to like figure this out.
Dude, well, you got Elon Musk working on his neural net, which literally takes your brain and the data that's
I saw him
inside of
talk
your
about that
brain.
on JRE, dude. Oh my
Yo,
God,
exactly.
that
It
was
takes
crazy.
the data that's in your brain and it's actually transmitting it to something that's real life in this world. So that kind of gives you an idea of what data actually is and
By
how.
the way, we both believe we live in a simulation.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe it,
I
but
just
it's
put words in his mouth. but
it's
I do.
I'm not throwing that away. I'm not throwing that away. Like it's definitely doable. It's,
2020 has
it's as
made me
legit
throw
as
all of
everything
my
else I've
beliefs
heard.
out the window. All right,
Kim
so
Jong-un.
we just talked about kind of like the downturn in the economy.
Can't
We
believe
talk,
we
we're
got to
talking
dad
about
on that, dude.
we're talking about stimulus, dude. All these data points, we're just running a marathon afterwards.
Dude, are we
Okay.
good at this or are we bad at this?
We'll let the YouTube commenters decide.
Are we really good or are we just super ADD and bad?
Yeah. Okay. This thing was freaking wild. Okay, so Kim Jong Un, right? Everybody thought Kim Jong Un was dead for a hot sec.
Yeah, that was
People
part of the
kind of
COVID
forget that.
hysteria.
People kind of forget that, dude.
They do.
Okay, so
I forgot it.
I heard a hilarious dude like relate it to something that Kim and Kanye did, and it helped. It actually made a lot of sense. So, in order to try and figure out the rats in their circle when they had their first kid, they basically lied to all their friends about what they were going to name their kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're close knit group of people. I don't even know how many people they would be, like maybe 20 max, but they told everybody a different name, and then whatever name leaked out to the media, gone.
Gone. Oh, I love that.
Boom. Kim Jong Un did the exact same thing. I'm
Yeah,
dead.
he did.
He said I'm dead, and the information leaked somehow. One of those few dudes that actually gets to interact with him, probably got like blown up. Or
Dude, I
something.
think it was more than that. I think it was not just the guy that leaked that false news. I think he made all this stuff up, hid out, and then because afterwards it was like, is his sister going to be the successor?
Dude.
Everyone was that. but a lot of people were scheming for that title. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
So he was basically like, bro, there's a bunch of people that work for me. I'm a freaking god. These people are trying to,
So
blow up my spot. And he just,
So Kim Jong-un
Gone.
knew that there were snakes in the grass in
He
North
did.
Korea, and he's trying to just, give him the old chop. So
he's such a dick, but that guy, that was...
and then it turns out he wasn't dead, so
Heinous
I
move.
guess that country's still fucked. All right.
Yeah, was it
Next-
ever not going to be fucked? North Korea, we hope you're not fucked one day. That's brutal.
No, we are very much hoping one day for the unity of North Korea, I think.
Yeah.
For the
I think-
better, not for the
I
worse.
think they're beefing with South Korea right now.
Okay, we're not going to skip down, but that's the World War III rumors part 2, because I think they were beefing at the DMZ very recently, but
Oh, man.
we can't skip because we're going in chronological order. All right, so next,
Oh.
if
Okay.
coronavirus wasn't scary enough,
So basically, let's run it back. Signs were in the apocalypse. I don't know if fire's one of them.
yes.
Pestilence, right? It's like crops dying, basically. I don't know.
Oh, like if
I don't know. Australian fires, that's got to be some apocalypse
that was
crap.
those are,
All of
these are
Australia's
acts
on
of
fire.
God.
Freaking, what's next? We've got coronavirus, disease.
Jesus.
Brutal, dude. That's
Plague,
the
dude.
worst.
We're
The
going
plague.
through. What is that story in the Bible where there's
Moses.
like 12 crazy shits goes down?
I
Right.
think it's Moses.
Yeah.
His little baby Moses. Little baby.
Rather
Little
than
baby guy.
so we got fires going down, then we got big virus.
We got disease, and then what do we have next? Fucking murder hornets.
murder.
What the
hornets.
hell?
What the fuck are those?
Dude, those are two words that should never be put together in the English
I don't
language.
like the word murder and hornet
That's
at
the
all.
worst. I hate it. I hate those.
Mm.
Oh, apparently these things just mess you up. Like, they sting you, and I hear it's like being lit on fire. Like, your body is just like in the worst amount of
I
pain.
could not imagine. I don't even know where they broke out. They probably broke out in Seattle, dude. That city was so. The city was like
Yep.
the hotbed for all the crazy shit.
That's
gone
where the
down.
world's ending. It's the epicenter.
Yeah,
And
we
you
got
are
more
right.
to-
It did start in Washington.
We got more to talk about Seattle too, because I know they did that thing where they like blocked off the city. Dude, Antifa's wilding in Seattle.
Bold move. Bold move. Very bold move. But so basically, these murder hornets are like roaming around the PNW. I haven't gotten a recent take. I did see a weird looking bee today though, and I did think,
Dude,
dude,
are
is that a
they
fucking
in
murder
LA?
hornet?
Dude,
I don't know how far bees fly. Dude, and apparently they're just so save the bees, hashtag save the bees. We're on
dude.
that gang.
Well, that's the thing that
These
was,
hornets are fucking up bee population.
yeah. So that's the thing that was so fucked up. Is it like, dude, like the whole point of that shitty bee movie that Jerry Seinfeld made was to like
No,
basically.
hey, that's not shitty. Bee movie is great, right?
All right, thumbs down on bee movie for me. But
The
like,
point of the bee
the
movie.
whole point of the bee movie was like, dude, we got to protect these things. Like, they're the reason we have food. They're the reason we have any
Facts.
foliage. I love that word. That's the word of the day, foliage.
Foliage.
Big time foliage guy. But that's the only reason that we have any plants. And if the murder hornets are coming through, killing all the bees, then if the coronavirus doesn't kill us, then not being able to eat probably would too. So
You mean famine? The next thing on the apocalypse list?
yeah, so we got Great Depression going down, maybe worse. We got a low, like a 5-year low on the Dow. We got Australian fires. We got Kim Jong-un, maybe dead, and then murder hornets come through. But
hey-
apparently, rumor has it that the praying mantis kind of yeets the murder hornet.
I love praying mantises. That's so on brand for that critter.
Mhm.
Dude, those
And
things are
honestly,
elite. They're just chill. So
The praying
chill.
mantis is also my favorite character in Kung Fu Panda. So,
Facts.
dude, that guy's a G. He
Dude,
just
I mean,
kills
they
it.
look like they're about to do kung fu at all times, and they do. Have you seen them attack?
like.
They're...
What's the tiger's name in Kung Fu?
Oh, dude, I have no idea.
The
Sheila?
the antagonist of the movie.
Sheila. Oh!
No, the bad one.
The net leopard, snow leopard.
Is it
He's a
Tai
snow
Lung?
leopard.
Is that him? Tai Lung? I might have made that up. Yo, fact check me if it's Tai Lung, but
I think you might be right. I'm not sure.
actually sounds kind of right. How did I just do that? But
Let's not jump the gun.
you see Mantis like this little speck of like nothing, just yeeting like their strongest guy.
Yeah.
The guy's a beast, and they can kill murder hornets.
They can't kill hornets. Okay, but of all of the shitty things that have happened, I'm skipping down here. Of all the shitty things that have happened in 2020, some good has come to it. It happened. What gave it attention was heinous, and it's really sad. It was the death of George Floyd, and
Dude.
to be honest, not the death of George Floyd, the death of a
Dude,
lot
that's not good.
of black people, dude, at the hands of police officers and police brutality.
Not
But
good.
I think it's a good thing that we're having a conversation that's legit, and so much attention is finally being brought to this.
Dude,
like,
the video,
2020's been fucked, but I like that we're finally, like, hopefully progressing past this era. You know what I mean?
yeah, dude, no one wanted that video to actually be a thing. That video is gnarly.
Oh
dude.
my god.
The guy is
So
like
sad.
8 minutes and 46 seconds, because I know Dave Chappelle did like a little special on it, which was really cool. If you haven't seen it, another What's Up Doc for you.
I haven't seen it, dude. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, he just gives his piece on it, and I respect the hell out of that guy. He's so good at what he does. But this is something that definitely needs to get figured out, and I'm not smart enough to figure it out. I've been trying to, be on the right side of history right here, and I think we are both like kind of standing in the same spot where like we don't really know the experience that everybody's talking about.
We can't.
But
It's like kind of impossible.
all we're doing is just standing there with our ears open and trying to be as helpful for the cause as possible.
It's interesting because it's impossible to know what that experience is like being an African American,
So true.
Male or female in the United States. But like, I'm sure shit gonna take people's word for it. You know what I mean? If like enough people are telling me, "This is a terrible thing," I'm like,
no, that's not what it's like.
Fuck you. You
It's
know what I
like-
mean? What do you mean?
It's like, what do you know, dude?
Yeah, it's sad.
Oh.
I also want to give a shout out and urge you guys. So recently today, one of my buddies in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, which Alabama, no surprises, is a history with this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He went to city council, and he actually, this is someone who's doing some real shit. You know what I mean? It's awesome. He went to city council, and he just passed a piece of legislation for them to build a Black Lives Matter mural in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
In Bama, wow.
So he got it voted like 6-1, favor and opposition. So it looks like it's gonna get passed.
That's huge.
But
dude.
this kid's inspiring, dude. I mean, Quad, like, way to go, dude. You're the man. Like, he's
Yo,
literally
shout out to that dude.
Quad.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
shout out to that dude. Like, he's putting his actions where his mouth is, and
Yeah.
I mean, he's like going through
100%.
bureaucratic bullshit to get this done. And I want to urge any of my friends that are anywhere, but especially in the South, where this doesn't get the light of day, unfortunately. This kind of movement doesn't really get to take place like it should. Be like Quad and take a stand, dude. I mean, and like really make your community better. Because I don't know,
Yeah.
I saw that today, and it really made me proud. So I'm gonna drop a link with this video of where you can sign that petition for him.
Yeah, let's get some clicks on that petition.
Yeah, and if you feel so inclined, dude, I want you to try to do something like that wherever you are. And like, it's one thing
Absolutely.
to feel sympathetic with the cause, and it's really good to march, but like, this kid just made some real freaking change, dude. Like, and I would love to, like, if it takes going to city council and like putting up with the bureaucracy of it all, then let's do it. You know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. One thing I want to say is one of the YouTube channels / podcast that kind of was birthed in this time, that was one of the main reasons that I wanted to do this, is a great podcast by Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson called All the Smoke, produced by Showtime. And they have the coolest NBA guests and NFL guests, and they've had boxers, they've had Ken Griffey Jr., absolute legend. And obviously Steven Jackson knew George Floyd. So I had been watching this YouTube channel. I've seen every episode, and I saw it pop up on my YouTube feed when their first episode dropped. I think it was with like maybe Kevin Durant or one of the Warriors, because he was on the Warriors. But Steven Jackson, man, so happy for what he's been doing. He is such a great role model, and he put down everything that he had going for him. This podcast was absolutely taking off. And the thing with the content game is once you're rolling the way they are, like their subscribers are going through the roof right now on YouTube. And he just put everything down. And I think they've only dropped like 2 episodes since the George Floyd incident. And obviously he went out to Minneapolis and had George Floyd's daughter on his shoulders. He did that great press conference at the church. He was at the funeral. Just really admire what he's doing. And he's a kick-ass podcast host too. So go watch that and support him. I'm all about what he's doing.
Yeah, that's a great spot. And dude, also shout out Kanye West for promising to pay his daughter's tuition for college.
Right on, dude.
I mean, he just probably changed a girl's life. I mean, she's gonna go to. Hopefully, she's gonna go to college.
His memorial fund has to be in the millions by now.
Yeah,
and I mean, know
good for him.
Floyd Mayweather also paid for his funeral services, and he had this. Dude, it looked like a king's. You know, like the thing was like almost gold. It was.
Well, Floyd, dude. Floyd doesn't fuck around. That's the money team right there.
Yeah, the money team definitely took care of him. You know, rightly so.
Everyone doing the right thing. Thank you. And if you're not doing the right thing, grow up.
Yeah, grow up, dude.
Yeah, seriously, get with it.
All right.
Let's talk about another good thing. Freaking NASA. We're back.
We are back.
We're back.
NASA, we are with the shit.
Dude, I'm so stoked. It's like, I feel like this is like what it was like being a pilgrim.
Dude, imagine being a little kid. So when the rocket went up in 1969, my dad had just been born, so he doesn't even remember it. But like, imagine like being a little kid with your like little American flag, dude, on the 4th of July, watching the rocket go up for the first time. Like, how cool would that be? Oh my god!
Especially with all of the hype around it, like, with the Cold War.
Talk about like, peak of patriotism. That was probably it.
Oh my god! It must have been insane. And also, think about the exploration element of it, which is this is space. Like,
dude,
we go from.
Do you know how far the moon is too?
No, not off my dome.
It's 200,000 miles away.
Woof.
Like, it's not close at all.
200,000 miles.
There's a reason why we haven't been back there.
How long does it take? Doesn't it take like 3 days to get there, though?
Way longer, dude. Way longer.
You sure?
Yeah, it takes months.
Dude, we haul ass up there, though. It's really fast.
Yo, I might have been so off on that number, but I think I heard it was like 200K.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough to like say what's what, but I do think it's incredibly freaking hype that we are going back, hopefully. And hot take, I want to hear. I've got a debate going, and I want to hear.
This isn't even about the moon. This NASA shit that went down.
Dude, no, I know. We're just going back to space.
They went to the space station, right? Which is only like 50 miles away. It was like nothing.
I know, but we did with a reusable.
That's the point.
Yes.
Commercializing space or space travel is a really interesting topic, and hopefully we can bring someone on who's. I actually have a close friend who works at Tesla, so hopefully we can get. Shout out to Josh. We can get him. He's working on those. Basically, it's like a double-edged sword. He's working on those like automatic trucks that they're doing that are electric. So they're just gonna take over once they actually get approved and shit, because they're self-driving. And
this is gonna be another podcast episode.
We gotta talk about how automation is screwing up America.
But hey, it could be good though.
But this is good for the environment.
One thing at a time. That's exactly what I was getting at though, which is I want to know people's take. Do you think that in our lifetimes we will go to space?
I personally am not. I know that.
Here's the thing.
I'm posted.
So if we live to 100, that's legit, dude. Think about what our grandparents were up to when they were 20. They were in the 50s. Think about how different the world in the 50s were. They hadn't been on a plane yet.
Yeah, they had.
No, plane travel in the 50s was like for the really uber wealthy.
Oh, okay.
It would end up like getting like cheaper.
I mean, dude, I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to live in the 50s, like, at all.
Exactly. So put yourself in that point. Do you think that, well, right now it's like unachievable, but if we come up with a reusable pod where they don't have to charge super, super high tickets, and
it's still going to be super expensive. It'll be like 10 G's probably to go.
Dude, but I feel like there's enough people that will be able to pay for it for a lot of people to have gone to space. Like,
if you're rich enough and crazy enough, go for it.
I'm not saying you're going to the moon by any means, but I'm saying like reach the orbit. I think that's definitely achievable.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people would just pay to see the Earth from that far. I mean, I probably would. I'm not even saying you have to go that far, but if you had a reusable thing that just went back and forth, you could charge like.
I think it'd be cool to go to the space station. Yeah.
The more sustainable it would be, the cheaper it gets.
But like Elon Musk is saying that he's going to die on Mars, and I'm like, dude, no, you're not.
He might. We're not.
Actually, he might be the first dude out there.
I mean,
what if he's just
he
like
got goofy money and goofy ideas.
Dude,
So I mean,
he named his kid freaking XA-12AR.
it's pronounced Kyle, you pig.
I think it's
Kyle. It's pronounced Kyle.
I know.
Dude, just like bizarre. Like
the
I don't know
AE
how, like,
is Ash, so I don't know how there's Kyle out of Ash, but whatever.
I always thought Xayah.
We are
We're digressing,
sidetracking
but, dude,
way too hard.
I would like you guys to think about it. Will we go to space? Just breach our orbit within our lifetime.
But the thing that's
I like
important about this whole launch is we don't have to pay Russia to go to space anymore. So since 2011, for the past 9 years, we've paid Russia to basically fly us to the space station when we wanted to go. So that means we had to pay for our astronaut dudes to go to Russia, right? And then we had to pay Russia, call it $50 million. However many, they probably charged us a stupid amount of money because we can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they send our astronauts up to the space station. Now, American companies are getting that much money rather than the Russian government. So keep the money in
America, and also
in America.
Also, dude, a little space exploration is just good for the soul. It's just good for.
I think
it's good for the blood, man.
It's scary though because it seems like we don't know shit. Really, we don't know shit.
Yep, simulation theory, fucking slide up through. But hey, I'm big stoked on that. Made me really really happy. It was kind of a little glimmer of hope through this whole COVID stuff.
Okay.
What's up? What's up, Doc? What are we dealing with next?
Okay, so I have a bullet point here, but it's not as important as all the other ones.
It's kind of
It's an point, but I've been recently getting into the MMA, and I want to give kudos to Dana White for being a badass because he basically figured out how to do fights amongst, even though he's probably got the least amount of people to worry about, right, in any sport, maybe golfers, but in a given fight night, there's less than 100 people involved now, I think, and he figured it out like this and has been hosting awesome fights all over the country.
I mean, that is savvy.
Very savvy.
He moved quick.
Very, very savvy. Dana White, dude, is a badass.
He stays making moves like this too.
Yeah, and you gotta be badass to stand in front of two guys that want to kill each other, and you're just standing there with your hands on their
Also,
throats.
to be fair though, I think a lot of that hold up with other sports has been athletes' contract negotiation and also
True.
their risk mitigation.
True.
Do they want to expose themselves to this?
Yeah.
Dude, you're not getting that problem in the MMA. These dudes are friggin' about it.
Yeah, they're
I don't
totally
think this
about
is a
it.
group
They
of
want
people that are worried about COVID. They're nuts.
They're the last gladiators in our society, and
Yes,
I
actually.
respect the hell out of them for that because dudes can die in there any night.
Dude, I'm not a big
So-
MMA guy because of it. I'm just this is so old world.
Yeah. So the point here is he bought some random property out in the United Arab Emirates and is calling it Fight Island. And I just thought that was so cool.
That is so badass.
I thought that was so
badass.
cool. Imagine you're
That's
it's
something video game.
Dude, it could be the Survivor intro, and then they have a freaking vine cage, and then you see McGregor and
Just made
Khabib going
McGregor
at
just
it.
Tarzan swings and just
You see Khabib and a bear just wrestling on sand as a promo.
Yeah, no, that's electric through and through. That's electric.
Dude, so I just thought that was mad cool, and they're having their first fight on Fight Island pretty soon. So good for them.
Good for them. Hope that goes well.
Okay, we only have a couple more points here before we break it down. This is something that was super scary, and to me was even scarier that it wasn't really talked about.
Facts. The biggest facts.
We are talking about the DDoS attacks, and I'm gonna need to. Do you know what that means? The acronym?
I think it means something denial of service.
Right.
So basically, you just
it's basically a
throw
big
1,000 service messages at them until they shut down, and you
It's
just take over
basically
their
a
server. I'm
cyber
pretty
attack. You think it's Chinese?
Sure. China or Russia, someone that wants to
It's
just
all China,
wipe
bro.
us off the
It's
face
all
of the
China. I'm
planet.
so scared of China, bro.
Dude.
So basically, all of the major cell carriers on a random Sunday, 3 weeks ago, just went down for 6 hours, and some of the biggest AWS server plants were just completely fried, and that is scary as shit. That our infrastructure is so frail. You know what I mean?
we don't have a frail infrastructure. That's the thing. I think that's
If
what's
they can
even
just,
scarier
if they
is
can
that
just cut off all communication in the U.S. that quickly, dude, that's pretty frail.
it's not frail. The fact is, like, we have cybersecurity is such a pain in the butt because you're constantly having to outsmart hackers, and eventually they'll just do something that's way smarter than you that you haven't caught on, and they'll just punish you with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible. I mean, so much money goes to protecting cyber assets, especially with data,
So true.
especially with cell phone carriers.
It's crazy though because you can set up a. Have you seen Ocean's 11 when they do that EMP in order to rob the casino?
Yeah.
They do an EMP underground and shut out all the.
Phenomenal movie.
Absolutely phenomenal movie. Shout out to George Clooney. But they do the EMP, rob the casino. We've all seen the movie. Those EMPs are actually real, like the electromagnetic pulse. And if you build a big enough one and just put it smack dab in the middle of the U.S., just cut out all the power.
Spooky. But hey, I think one of the bigger importance about this DDoS attack goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Data is so important. People are willing to attack your nation for it.
Yeah, that's probably what they did. While the
So don't you
firewalls were
think you
down,
should
they
have a
probably
bill
just
of rights for it?
they probably
if it's
just
so important,
gypped
other
everybody's
nations
data.
will kill for it. You got Russia, who's manufacturing fake data and just completely being divisive. You got countries attacking you for your data. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, like, this stuff is nuts. We are lucky to be living in the tech revolution, but we're moving so fast, we're not able to cover our weak spots. You know what I mean? And it's a little spooky.
If we've learned anything in 2020, it is that we're moving too fucking quick. We need to slow down. And honestly, this is something that maybe we can close on because, like, dude, for the quarantine, everybody kind of just like everybody's excuse is that like they're busy, like life moves too fast. Like, you talk to someone like that you haven't talked to in 5 years, like, oh, where's all the time gone?
Yeah,
it's like, dude, like the quarantine kind of forces everybody to slow down, and then you kind of realize what's important, and you're just like, wow, dude, like everything that I cared about, like up until this point in my life, is like not what I'm doing now. Not what I'm really doing right now.
Hanging with friends, family,
it's like
stuff.
the things that you miss the most are like people. They're not like
exactly,
you know, taking photos with people. It's not. It's like, damn, I wish I could chat with this person.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
you don't miss Netflix now. I promise you that.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Like,
I'm so strung out on Netflix, dude. I don't have anything to watch anymore.
Can't you tell? We've done nothing but give you documentary and movie suggestions.
By giving you
like,
what's up docs, you could drop me a what's up doc in the comment section. That'd be great.
90% chance we've seen it. That's all we've been doing. Coronavirus is brutal.
Yeah, I've been through the bowels of the Netflix documentary.
Dude, you're right. 100% right. I mean, dude, like,
what would you say? Like, it's a reflection period, right?
It has been nice to be reflective and also reach out to people that I really do care about, but stuff just moves so fast in my life. Getting back to what we're talking about too, which is part of this topic, we've grown up in this in this tech revolution, and I think we are a little too used to it. You know what I mean? We're like, we move really fast. We have so many people going on. We Snapchat. We are in constant communication.
So true.
That it feels like you're in touch with people, but all of a sudden when you can't see them, you realize that's not cutting it.
No.
Snapchat's not cutting it. FaceTime's not cutting it. And I love FaceTime. It's awesome. It's better than alternatives. I'm glad I have all these things. It's definitely not cutting it.
Me and my buddies, like one of the few ways I've stayed in contact with my friends since I've been home is we do like these online poker games.
Sweet.
For like low stakes, but I always freaking, I don't think I've won once since I've been home. Shout out to all the guys who took money from me recently.
Some sharks.
But then we do like half the screen is the poker game and half the screen is like a Zoom sesh. And like for me, like just to play a couple hands with the boys and catch up is all I really want, you know? It's a little bit of FaceTime.
It's as close as you can get to the real thing.
And well, who even knows now with this like kind of spike that's been going down recently? Like
I know.
It's 4th of July is in 3 days. This is July 1st, so this episode's gonna drop probably on next Monday. But 4th of July is coming up, and for all you guys who don't live in LA, like the beaches are totally closed down. Gavin Newsom, the governor, who's Nancy Pelosi's nephew, if you guys didn't know that, is shutting down all the beaches. People are pissed, including me.
I'm a little buttered about it, and in addition,
but Finn's going to be in Ventura where it's chill.
I'm being in Ventura. Send the county line. Actually, don't send the county line. We're sending the county line. You guys do something else. But dude, it's really sad too because they closed down indoor dining as well, and my heart goes out to these small businesses.
Dude, these restaurants are not going to make it, bro.
I hope they do. I don't know how they're going to, and it breaks my heart because it's such a, you pour your love and life into that, and it's just not fair what's happening to them.
And it takes such like guts to just go out on your own and start a restaurant, start a small business, start a podcast, dude. Like this is a crazy, like all those people took a big leap, and for a lot of them, like they invested all their cash into it, and they don't have a lot of like stray investments laying around. They need that cash flow to live.
Dude, margins on restaurants are so
slim. Like my neighbor,
they're doing it because they love it. They're not even doing it to make that much money. They're doing it because it's like, I love this. I can provide this to the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they're close to their communities too. Everyone's got those small businesses that if they went out of business, you would be heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For me, it's Teddy's. It's my Mexican food place I've been going to since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, if that goes out of business, I'm pissed.
So true.
So, you know, I think that's a good spot to end it. Support your local businesses. I mean, just take and cherish the time you guys have with each other. And if you spent this last hour and 42 minutes listening to us, a massive thank you.
You guys rock.
You guys rock.
Congratulations. You guys made it through the first episode of Loading with Will and Finn.
Yeah.
This has been awesome.
It has been awesome.
Guess what, y'all? We have our first guest lined up. I am so stoked for this. This is going to be an epic conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk with a guy who manages a band of a very, very close friend of mine.
So up-and-comers themselves, they're loading.
So we're talking about guys who are on the come up. That's what we're about, guys. We're going to be interviewing guys that are kind of our age and that are doing cool shit and that know a lot and can educate us all about certain industries. So we're going to learn a lot about the music industry. We're going to learn a lot about how the streaming game works and how you can monetize your streaming game, or in general how bands make money these days, especially when they can't play shows. So Kaito's his name is Kaito. He's a super cool dude. He's gonna drop some knowledge on us next week. We're gonna record sometime next week, and then we'll be dropping the episode on Saturday. Sorry, didn't mean to fumble over my words there.
Hey, so if you likely, all of you, if not most of you, are friends of ours, thank you so much for tuning in and checking us out. And if we did get any random stragglers that made it this far, please do us the favor of subscribing and following. I don't know how you do it. I don't know what we're posting this on, but
if you're a homie, you're gonna subscribe to this channel.
Facts. That's what
I'm looking in the camera right now. You know who you are.
Yeah.
You are hitting the subscribe button.
You listen to us and our nonsense.
You listen to this BS that we've been sending back and forth. This is a rinky-dink operation. You know, I don't even know if this shit worked. We'll see.
We'll have to see.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, dude, I think that was a kick-ass first episode, and we're gonna be talking with Kaito next week.
Yeah, we're stoked. Hey, dudes and dudettes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that was so bad.